This is Fallout 4. We're here on Xbox Series X, taking a look at the next-gen update to the game. Or, well, at this point, the current-gen update, since it has been so long. And Piper, you have never looked finer. Just throwing it out there. So, this is the most recent adventure in terms of being a single-player Fallout game, and it's finally been given its proper current-gen treatment after many years and a long time waiting. At least on the Series X, we had the advantage of FPS boost and mods that could have taken us to this level, but nothing beats a fine-tuned, out-of-the-box improvement to the overall experience, or I guess out of the digital download nowadays. Whatever the case, it's finally here, and it's ready to go, which is rather exciting. So venture forth into the massive open world of Fallout 4. As the sole survivor of Vault 111, as either a male or female character of your design and choosing, since one of you survives and the other does not, you need to go and find your kid. But most people don't really care about looking for their child. They're out for the adventure on their own. And it's about the places you see, the people you meet, and the things that you do in this absolutely great and iconic role-playing game that has finally been improved to the legacy level that it does deserve. So you're probably wondering, what exactly are we getting here? Well, there's quite a lot of graphical options that are present within this game. So we have the display settings, performance mode, which is off currently, and we're going to be turning that on in a sec here. We've been on the quality mode. So performance mode, when you turn that on, and you back out, you'll notice, looks the same. Yeah, so they, I guess they messed up with this update. What a shocker, right? So we're going to have to do an update video to this a little bit further down the line, but essentially, it's just running 4K 60, so it's a dynamic 4K 60 FPS. So the big difference there is that the quality mode, when on, is supposed to be giving us a native 4K at 30 FPS. And then those, but see, the problem is it's the same, right? So, yeah, so the problem there is they made a mess up, which is kind of funny. But going further, and this is for context of people after, watching this later on or whatever, or they don't see my next video that kind of talks about this when they do fix it. You are supposed to be getting quality mode, again, is a native 4K at 30 FPS. But if you have a TV that has 120 hertz, 120 FPS support, you will actually be getting 40 FPS. So it'll be the native 4K 40 FPS, which I think is really cool that Bethesda is listening to people and finally delivering on that element of play. Now, another very odd option, and one depending on your preferences you may choose, if you do go into your actual settings on your Xbox, I'm not even kidding about this, and you choose the 1440p mode, the game will run at 1440p 60 FPS. So that's a really interesting option. And that'll have like the ultra settings and everything like that. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating that that is a thing. So those are your modes. So you're actually essentially getting 4 different graphical options when it all works properly as it's supposed to. But, hilariously, you wait this long and they still mess up is kind of funny. Just a little funny. Just a little funny. So, yeah, let's go over it. So performance is supposed to be dynamic 4K 60. Quality mode is supposed to be native 4K at 30 FPS. Or, if you have 120 hertz, it's supposed to be native 4K 40 FPS, which, again, 40 FPS modes are awesome, and something I wish Xbox first-party stuff would spend more time doing. And then, if you have it specifically set to 1440p, it'll be 1440p at 60 FPS. Super weird, because I and I could be misremembering things. I don't think there's actually another game on Xbox that does that. Although I would love to be told wrong, as I think that would be really fascinating, because I don't remember any games that do that. So outside of that, we have lost the auto HDR that was present within the game, so hopefully we get something in that regard down the road. We do have some new content that has been added to the game. So they've given us some new things, kind of like what they did with Skyrim when it did its anniversary edition, but these are just new things. The Enclave Remnants sort of like story type thing, an Echoes of the Past quest. We've got some new armor and weapons and a makeshift weapon patch, so just some new stuff. Now, I will mention that this does break, like, virtually all of your mods and stuff, so you'll have to re-download mods and everything like that, and some of your mods probably won't work, and I don't think a lot of mod creators are going to go back. Plus 13 charisma for the dress. Are gonna go back and actually update this game. From what I've been kind of reading and looking into, I hope they do. But we might be a little stuck here in regards to mod and mod support, and it might break some of your saves and whatnot as you're playing the game. So keep that in mind. Like, mods are fun. Mods are enjoyable. And, yeah, it is a little bit of a shame that we have to deal with that sort of thing being kind of present here, that there are some technical issues because of that. You don't want to talk to me there, Tankbot? I just wanted to be your friend. But regardless, the game is looking a lot better. And it's a lot more fluid. And it's just a great adventure that you can dive into. So if you haven't played Fallout 4, for whatever reason, and you know what? Honestly, I can see now that the fact that the game has been around for as long as it has, Ghoulish turned into a feral ghoul. Well, that's not good. I can definitely see where some players might not have ever played this game, because it is an actually pretty old game. So I do think it's fairly good that they've actually taken the time to give us a proper current gen update, so that players that are curious about this and have never played it, or maybe even never heard of it, can finally dive in and enjoy what this has to offer. Now, I will also be working on a modded video in terms of telling you the new mods that you should check out with this update, so stay tuned for that down the road. It may already be there, depending on what's happening here. What is this? I've already done this. Maybe this is, like, really bugged.
You stop waving that gun in my face.
So, I've got, like, max charisma and everything like that. But let's dive into what Fallout 4 is. It's a game of choice. It's a game of role-playing. It's a game where you develop your character and you explore a vast world of choice. You make dialogue decisions, and your choices will impact the wasteland and the world of the Commonwealth, which is where this game takes place. There are many quests. There are many adventures. There are tons of weapons. There are tons of tools. There are many things for you to see, and there are many things for you to do. Every time I play this game, I'm always running into new activities and adventures to have. And it's delightful. It really is. I love Fallout 4. I was blown away from the moment I played it on the Xbox One, as I was very lucky, actually, to kind of get like a review package and everything for that when the game first came out. And you gotta remember, this was years ago, so I wasn't really getting stuff like that, if that makes sense. So for me, it was a pretty big deal, because I was basically getting access to something I hadn't gotten before, and it was a nice little cool package. And I guess basically the folks Xbox Canada and stuff at the time sort of forwarded me along to Bethesda. They're like, hey, there are any people that are like gonna be Raider scum, checking out the game and everything like that, or want to check out the game. And I ended up getting it to review, and I got it day one. I put in the disc. I was playing the adventure. I just really fell in love with what this game has to offer. It's an expansive world, one that is filled to the brim with activities and adventures and crazy things, unforgettable characters, wacky moments. And you know what? You may sit there and be like, "Oh, the quest, it's about finding your kid." And to a degree, yeah, it is. It is about finding your kid. But it's more about the adventures you go on, the people and characters you meet along the way, and the crazy weird things that do happen. And that's what makes this so special, is just this beautifully detailed, desolate, lost world that you're lost in, and you're exploring, and you're just gathering items and taking in the sights and the scenery and the style of it. It's gorgeous, and this update helps a lot with making sure that that aesthetic and that design carries through for, you know, gaming generations down the road to enjoy. And I think that in itself is really, really quite magical. Now, you're probably wondering a little bit about the modding and stuff like that too. So this is my modded save, but none of my mods carried over, none of my mods are on, so it's kind of just like the remnants of my mods are impacting this. In case you're wondering if I've like adjusted, you know, aesthetics or anything like that, this is the journey as you kind of get untouched, if that makes sense, as I will be doing a modded video review down the road. So we're going to go and take a look at some of the core elements of the game, some of the more challenging areas of the game, and to show you a little bit of the loading that's present within this. But in regards and in general, this game is a beautiful experience, a somber one, one that is filled with detail and adventure and wonder and challenge and scavenging as you attempt to survive and thrive in a world where the bombs dropped and, you know, things kind of fell apart. It really is just a beautiful, wondrous game, and one that I absolutely adore. I think it's just fantastic. I really genuinely think this is such a well done game that you can just waste away hours playing, and you'll love every moment of it. And then you can come back years later and it'll still be fun, and you can do a new playthrough with different choices and different characters. Or you can jump in and find new things, stuff that you haven't seen, Easter eggs, references, hidden secrets. It's all kind of present here within this great game. And then you can have companions, and, you know, I've got the lovely Piper there, and she just, you know, she just won't love me. I have like affinity maxed out and everything, and she just, she always turns me down.
What you got for me?
And
Hey, Piper.
So,
yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. She's for the press, but there's a lot of characters that you can meet
where I pretty much said you were my only friend.
and choices you can make.
Sound nuts.
And yeah, I'm not gonna go down that road again. I don't want her to just deny me. She does it every time. It's just crazy, the things you do, the places you go to, and the adventures you have in this game. I love it. You get to meet characters that you can work with, ones that will constantly badger you about another settlement that needs your help. And it's that journey you go on, that adventure you have, that just makes this ever so fulfilling. So if you're wondering about where we are, this area was specifically picked out because this is like the spot. So the Swan area in this game is considered like the most technically like performant demanding areas of the game, which is why we always go here when we do these reviews and these showcases, so that you can see how this area is running. Because for a lot of people, this is like the big test for what this game can do, and it's like, you know, if this area isn't running well, it's like, oh, well, it looks like we're gonna have to wait another gen or whatever. And I think that's always kind of funny, where it's sort of like this area is the test area, because it's so demanding due to like the quantity of like foes, the creatures, the density of the downtown, all of the different buildings and everything like that, make this area a demanding location for you to visit and explore and take in. And I think that's kind of hilarious, honestly. Like, it's really interesting that this is the spot that becomes like this big sort of legacy thing where it's like, oh, oh, is this running well? Hubris Comics. So we want to go that way. There's always a certain way we go where it's kind of like a main street and there's comics and stuff like that, but the idea is this is sort of that place where it's kind of like, wow, it never runs well. And it kind of actually is running decently well, I would say, right? Like, this is not bad at all. I mean, I think you and I probably noticed a little dip here or there, but for the most part, this is exactly what we were hoping that the game would be able to achieve with this update. And I think that's just kind of absolutely excellent. So aside from exploring and crazy things, the game has excellent quests where your choices will impact how those quests end and how they go. You'll get to see crazy sights. There's DLC that expands the scope of the story. I highly recommend Nuka World. We'll be showing that off in just a little bit, don't worry. I also highly recommend Far Harbor, because Far Harbor is a very cool place to visit. And I personally really, really love Far Harbor. I think it's really, really an interesting spot. And yeah, they're like little automatron things. Like there is some fun DLC to this one, and then there's some cool mods, but obviously the state of mods has been reset, and I'm gonna have to really sit there and kind of play around with them to get a proper idea again of like the best modding options and all that. And that's why again I keep teasing my follow-up video, but it is honestly it's gonna take me some time to actually do that because we haven't had a status reset like this, I think forever in this game. Like, I don't think they've ever done one like that. But yeah, it's just a great time. And there's so much you can loot and collect. So a big part of the game is the settlement system. So you saw my settlement in the beginning area, but essentially you're collecting and gathering items, and then you can kind of like, you can build. So you can build settlements and little cozy places that people will live. And those settlements can be used to like trade to one another. And I just love the design and the concept of having these different settlements around the world that are doing different things and attempting to survive in their own weird ways. And I think that in itself is really, really quite intriguing because I'm trying to find where the Salem area is. There's actually like a Salem town. There we go. The town of Salem. That one's pretty fun. And you're just able to build. So like a lot of the game for me was going around collecting items and resources that I could then use in order to like build my like settlement and stuff like that. And it was just so fun. This is actually like a really entertaining place to go. I'll keep that as a bit of a surprise for those that haven't played this before. But yeah, that is a really cool little building with some really neat hidden things. And you see the time of day changes. And it's just like, it's always beautiful. There's different storms and starry nights and weird, mystical, creepy days. There's always something going on in this game. There's always something to find. But for me, the magic of it is exploring this wasteland that is filled with, like, challenge and kind of, like, sad moments. Like, this is a place where people, they lived, and it really does feel like a worn-in place where, something terrible happened, and bombs dropped, people died, society fell apart, and we're stuck with the remnants of it years later for those that made it out of the vault, or for those that somehow weathered the terrible storms that, were kind of left for society to deal with. And those thematical elements of Fallout, to me, are always a truly special and fun time to take in. I love just exploring and seeing all of the weird sights of the wasteland, and it's just so great. I honestly really wish they had done larger scale, further expansions to this game, because I do think it's so well done, so well compiled, and I just want more. Like, it's honestly horrible that we've had to wait so long for a new Fallout game. And we got Fallout 76, and, that one has had extreme downs, extreme ups, and it's like, it's not quite the same, though, as playing a Fallout game, and, kind of doing a single-player setup. I actually quite like playing with other players. I think it's kind of fun that you're actually able to play a multiplayer in Fallout 76, if that makes sense. But there is something to me that is truly interesting about playing, something that you're able to enjoy by yourself and whatnot. And it's just like a little sad that, like I said, we've had to wait so long to play, like to get a new Fallout game. It's disappointing to me because it's a series that I enjoy so much. This is the building settlement system. I love the settlement system so much. Like, you have to build, like, defenses and things, and you can have these places build up food and resources. It's just awesome. This whole game is so great. Like, I really do love this experience and what it has to offer. The challenges, the things to find, the places to explore, the adventures to have. It's kind of amazing. It really genuinely is. I want to show off Nuka World. One sec here. I wonder if I can actually even get to Nuka World without having to do some kind of crazy thing. The Rocky Cave, the delayed bracket site. Uh-oh. Or Hugin. That's not good, because I want to go to Nuka World. Nuka World's the place that I want to be. See, again, with the way that the saves are kind of messed up from this update, some of the stuff is a little weird. But yeah, it's just an adventure that you can kind of get lost in. That you can see all these crazy things and do all this stuff. And attempt to survive as you battle robots and ghouls and other raiders and fiends and all kinds of sort of stuff. It's a game that I think is sort of for everyone that loves games where you roleplay and you make your own choice and your own path and you do crazy things and you finish all of these challenges. It's really, really genuinely spectacular. They did such a good job crafting this one in terms of its gameplay and design. Where is Nuka World? I am a little bothered by that, because I don't think I have the mod that allows me to go off and go and explore Nuka World. I'm sorry. I love Nuka World so much, and it's a little disheartening that Nuka World is not showing for us today because it's such a cool place to take you. Seriously, it's one of my favorite locales in this world. So I think if we go this way, we go this way, we go that way, maybe we'll end up at the station to show you. But regardless of me being able to present the magic that is Nuka World, I hope this is kind of presenting to you what the game is about, what it has to offer, the scope and the scale of things, the weird things that you can kind of come across, the fun you can have, the adventures that are sitting within this wasteland, and that I just really kind of capture and showcase and tell you about what this amazing game offers. As you can just sort of roam endlessly as you enjoy wild sights, visit weird things, and get lost in a world that is just so full of excitement and adventure and weird advertising and propaganda stuff. And yeah, I think this really is truly quite a remarkable game that if you haven't played before, you are really missing out on one of gaming's like sort of finest offerings. Like, the whole Fallout series is really, really good. Like, honestly, like, the games, they've got such interesting challenges and, discovery things you can do and places you can go to. And you're just kind of missing out if you haven't played them. I mean, we've got Fallout 4 here, right? But Fallout 3, New Vegas, they're really great too. They're full of challenges and special skills and things you can work towards. And for me, it's just like Fallout 4 has been such a cool thing because it's one that I really was a part of from its launch and whatnot to review and cover and see grow over the years. And it was so interesting the whole way along on that journey. I had so much fun playing Fallout 4, and I'm sure others have as well. Is this the way to Nuka World? You forget after a while, but ugh. Yeah, that's kind of hurtful. So the game does have also a pretty expansive crafting system. Am I out of stims because I'm invincible and I'm not supposed to be able to get hurt, so I don't have any stims on me? Because that would be pretty funny. Yeah, that would actually be hilarious. There we go. We're just gonna fix that leg right up there. So, anyways, yeah, you can craft all kinds of things. You gather items to heal yourself, or do weird like effects and impacts to your character's health. And you could like drink and be drunk, and it's just like it's really quite crazy how expansive and large in scale this game is. It truly is a remarkable offering that like it's just it blows me away every time I play it because it's hard to fully dive into everything this game is because I think there's just so much to it. Like it's utterly wild. All of the crazy adventures you can go into, like you're still, as I said, like I'm years on and I'm still kind of discovering things and I'm seeing new sights and I'm having a wonderful time playing it. It's just as fun as it was like the first day around. And I can't believe that something like this kind of exists in the sense of it being so ridiculously fun and exciting. I think you'll have a great time playing Fallout 4. I think this update is kind of wonderful, even though it's not fully properly providing everything it's supposed to, which is hilariously humorous to me, and it's such a Bethesda thing for that to have happened, and such an Xbox thing for that to happen, which is kind of funny. But I, in general, really hope that if you haven't ever played a Fallout game before, or you haven't played Fallout 4, that maybe this kind of sold you on the idea of, like, trying it out. Seeing what it is. Diving into the world. Meeting some weird characters. Going on some crazy adventures. Having some romance. Finding lost secrets. Exploring vast worlds. Doing crazy things. And I do promise you that, like, again, I don't have access to the Nuka World to show you, but Nuka World is so cool. It's like a twisted Coca-Cola world. Like, it's like Coke if they had Disneyland. And they got mascots and everything like that. And there's like, it's a park you can go and explore with rides and stuff. And it's one of my favorite things to showcase. So it does kind of suck that it's a little messed up right now, and I don't have it on my map because I keep checking, but yeah, it's supposed to be like over here on the outside. And there's like an area you go and visit, and it kind of unlocks it, and there's like a radio thing, but yeah, I don't really have the ability in this time frame to present that to you, and that is, that's on me for sure. I definitely would say too, but I do my best, and I think this shows the game off regardless. Have a nuke, yeah. Nuka Cola is just like the Coke offering of this world, but outside of Nuka World, there's lots of great things to see and places to go. And I think I've basically covered the full scope of this game. I think I've basically shown off almost everything there is to offer. Well, I mean, I'll never be able to do that. I'd have to sit here for like doing like a multi-hour review or something like that to really present everything for you, but I hope you get an idea of the general scope of this game, the craziness of it, the fun, the ridiculousness. Obviously, if I could die, I probably would have died a few times while we're doing this, but I think part of the fun of it too is sort of the challenge of dying, but also if you want, and you want to make a modded save or something like that, you can go wild, and you could be ridiculous, and you can play it how you want. Mods will disable achievements and stuff though, but yeah, it's just a nice quality of life improvement. The game looks a little better. It runs a little better. It's got some, additional things. I do wish more of an effort would have been put in regards to, like, expanding the mods and making sure there was a bit more mod allocation and mod compliance, because the mods are so important to Fallout, especially the fact that we don't have many games that support mods on consoles. But you kind of get what you get. And yeah, a little bit of bug fixes, a little bit of improvements here or there. And I would say in general, I'm pretty happy with what this has to offer and the adventures that I've been able to go on it. And I think if you too dive in and you check out Fallout 4, you will find yourself getting lost and spending many hours on your own cool adventures.